Welcome to Touch Technology Review. My name is John Scarpa, and in this content creator series of videos, I aim to share with you some of the knowledge and experience that I've accumulated over the years in my digital media business, the things that I've been doing here on YouTube and other social media platforms to give you a bit of an insight as to what's involved in order to create a successful online brand. So this is an introductory video giving you the basic framework of how to create content and manage a social media account for your client, ideally suited to those of you just starting out. But this is the process that you need to consider in actually delivering and meeting client needs and expectations when you're managing the social media. So let's start with the first step in the process, and that is setting up a business so that you're offering your services through a legitimate business rather than on a personal level as a freelancer. The advantage of doing this is that, first of all, you have the ability to invoice your clients correctly. Here in Australia, we have a system where we generate an ABN, which gives your client the ability to claim your invoices as a tax deduction. And likewise, when you're producing work and generating income through your business, you can also claim deductions on all of your equipment. So there's a great advantage in owning and having your own business in that you're setting it up for the right framework to transact with other businesses professionally. So you can do it as a sole trader. You could also consider setting yourself up as a proprietary limited. And this is usually when you're dealing with larger clients. There's a whole range of advantages of doing that. Not only tax deductions, but also protections for you against certain issues that might pop up when you're dealing with larger clients. So certainly it's worth having a chat to an accountant or somebody that has had experience in setting up businesses as step one to setting up a business structure before you begin transacting with your clients. The next thing I want to talk about is to brand yourself and prove yourself. So you might have some experience in social media. You might have the ability to create catchy and engaging videos. You might be great at photography, but actually proving yourself in the realm of social media includes having a successful branded page where you show consistency in the content that you're delivering. You show the fact that you've generated and built an audience and interest on each of your posts. And that can be as little as an audience of 1,000 to 3,000 followers. But the main thing is that the content is great and you're getting lots of views and comments on your posts that demonstrates that you are able to produce engaging content. So prove yourself by branding yourself and putting yourself out there on social media. The next step is to interview your client. So sitting down with the client, whether it's face-to-face or these days, quite often you have to do it over Zoom, having a good discussion with the client and first of all asking them what their main objective for running this social media campaign is, which social media platforms are going to be suited to get out to their audience. So that's understanding their demographics, understanding the type of content that you have to work with and what content you need to be generating for them in order to help give them really good content that's going to match their brand. So this is only going to be able to be developed by having a great face-to-face discussion with your client, fully understanding not only what their business is about, but also what their side interests are, what forms their personality, what key strengths and assets they have that they can bring to the table so you have good content to use in social media. So if you discover that your client is great at speaking in front of a camera, then you want to encourage them shooting videos or you helping them shoot those videos so you can use that as content on your platform. If they're not so great in front of the camera, what other visual assets do they have in their business? Do they have a great library of photos? Do they have resources that they want to be able to share? If their industry isn't generally an exciting industry with lots of visual content available, be it photos or videos, are there articles that they've participated in, stories that you could help post on social media and find a creative way to get that out there in the realm of social media? So finding out a little bit more about your client is really important, not just what they do in their work, but also a little bit about their personality, their interests, and anything you can find out that can help you generate content that will be more organic and natural in feel, because you don't want to be limiting yourself to marketing type posts on social media. There's no way you're going to be able to build an organic following with posts that seem to be call to action, looking to generate business. It's very unnatural for social media to have accounts that are just saturated with offers and deals all the time. So you need to be creating a mix of content that is both personal and also getting down to business. And it's only after you've gone through this process that you can then formulate the ideas in your own mind as to how you're going to tackle this social media strategy for this particular client, because every client is different and they each have their own expectations, their own demographics they need to be appealing to, and their own objectives. So a very important part in the process of understanding how you can help your clients manage their social media. The next step is to determine a budget for your client. You can do this in one of two ways. First of all, you can simply ask the client if they have a budget. So if they've had experience with digital marketing before, they already might have a preconceived expectation of how much they need to spend. If they don't really know, then it's up to you to work out a suitable budget based on the brief that you obtain from the client. So to give you a bit of an understanding as to how to come up with a budget when your client hasn't given you one, there's two ways to look at it. First of all, there is the hands-on management fees. That's basically what you're being paid to manage their social media. How do you work out what the budget is there? Well, have a look at your hourly rate and how long it will take you to meet the objectives. So let's take a simple scenario of you determining that the client is going to be receiving 5 posts per week. And then you need to break that down and have a look at how long it's going to take you to create the content for those posts, how to actually generate the posts and monitor them and give feedback to your client. So all the hours involved on a weekly basis. Now you can either look at this as a weekly cost or monthly, or you might package it up in 3-month, 6-month, or 12-month terms. So it really depends on how you want to go about doing it there. I like to look at things from a monthly point of view when I'm quoting my clients. And I also like to set a parameter of a minimum period of, say, 3 to 6 months. So it gives us a chance to actually get a sense of the market and to really start measuring the success of the campaign before we decide whether we're going to extend it any further or make changes to the campaign. So you could decide that your hourly rate could be anywhere from $50 to $100 per hour, as an example. And if it's going to take you 5 hours to complete that work, then it's going to cost around $250 per week for your management services. That's going to come to around $1,000 per month for that amount of time. Now, it doesn't really end there, because your management services alone aren't going to be enough to generate the necessary interest in the social media posts that you're creating, especially now given the increased competition we're facing across all of the social media platforms. You're going to need to consider a paid marketing campaign on at least one or two of the main platforms. Usually that's going to be Facebook and Instagram for most clients, but there's also other platforms like LinkedIn. And that could be an extra $1,000 per month. So generally, you might go in at a proposal that could be around $2,000 per month to manage their social media and include some advertising, depending on how many posts that you're creating. Now, if they don't have that budget, of course, you can negotiate until you get to a point that you have a working budget that's going to be suitable for both you and the client. And it also depends on the type of content you're producing. If you're actually going to be filming video and editing, there's a higher cost involved in producing that type of social media content. These are just hypothetical numbers here. Don't take this as a guide for what the hourly rate should be, because it's going to vary depending on which country you live, depending on your own expectations of an hourly rate and how much experience you've got. So I can't really give you a definitive answer as to how much a social media campaign is worth and how much you should be charging. It's all really dependent on how much value you can provide to your client and how much they're getting back in return for your services. That brings us to the final step, number 5, and that is writing up the brief and presenting the quote to your client. This can be a difficult task if you haven't got any experience in doing this, but the first thing you do is, after coming out of your meeting with all of your notes and a full understanding of what the client is looking for, you need to document that and put it down as deliverables in terms of what you're going to be providing your client. So as an example, it could look something like this. First of all, provide the client with 1 to 5 social media posts per month. And next to that, you put a cost associated with that particular task. Second, setting up and running Facebook ads. Put the cost associated with that in the second line. Next, you might want to include video editing as part of what you're doing, or you might want to be adding that as an extra service. You could also look at on-site photography and video work to help the client generate that content. And again, this could go in as a separate line item. And then you present the total of those services along with the total of the Facebook, YouTube, or whichever social media platform marketing costs. And then you provide the total monthly cost. And if you are going for a 3-month plan, 6-month, or 12-month, then provide them with a total cost over those 3, 6, or 12 months. So they have a full understanding of what they're going to be receiving for the amount that you're charging, how long it's going to take, and what they can expect to receive at the end of the social media campaign. Now, be careful here not to promise things that you're not sure you can deliver. So with anything related to online marketing, you don't know if that's going to turn into a sale. You don't know if that's going to help your client generate more business. Obviously, you're going to give them the exposure they're required, and there's an expectation that based on that, they're going to be getting inquiries. But then once they receive the inquiries, it's up to them to convert that into a sale. So that's not something you can commit to and be a part of in terms of confirming that what you're doing is going to result in a certain amount of income based on that social media effort. So there are the 5 tips on how you can generate a social media campaign for your clients. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments box below. I'm going to be producing more content in this realm. So if you do have any questions or anything you'd like to see appear in future videos in relation to this topic, feel free to drop them in the comments box below. As always, thanks for watching. If you did enjoy the video, hit me up with a like and consider subscribing to the channel. See you on the next one. Bye for now.